Of course, there are two sides to this story. Joining us now is Drew Peterson's attorney, Joel Brodsky. Let's start. I know you haven't spoken to your client yet, but his reaction. I should have returned those library books. He's blasé. Do you take these charges more seriously?
Well, Drew takes these charges very seriously. That's just the way that Drew deals with stressful situations. He deals it with wisecracks and comedy. That's just his nature and how he's been trained to deal with these issues.
Well, also the situation was a little bit more cloudy until they passed this new law in Illinois back in November. It's known as the Drew Peterson law, where these statements, letters from Kathleen Savio could come in as evidence of intent against him, could be very powerful. What do you think of that?
Well, obviously we have problems with that law. We believe it runs counter to the right to confrontation. The Supreme Court has recently issued rulings on that very issue, and we're going to challenge the law. But it's problematic to me because in Illinois we had 13 people who were on death row found to be not guilty, exonerated. So I think in cases like this, we must look for tighter restrictions on evidence. We need to use a better and more strict restrictions on what comes before a court, and not open it up to hearsay, innuendo, rumor, or what a wife may write in anger during a contentious divorce. Potentially
two wives. Stacy made comments about her fears about what he would do. Kathleen Savio told her sister just days before, wrote about it, as many as 50 pages of declarations of concerns about him doing something exactly like what happened to her. What do you think of that?
Well, about Stacy's comments, was very interesting. We never heard about Stacy making any comments like that until we started hearing the Savio family talking about it in the news. So I really have very strong doubts that you're going to find that Stacy made any statements prior to the Savio family coming out with this. I think they were just following the Savio family lead.
As an attorney, you have the ethical duty to zealously represent. But let me ask you, is this a situation for you where you're going to test the prosecution's ability to make a case, or do you believe that your client is innocent?
Listen, Drew took a polygraph exam for that book, Drew Peterson Exposed, and he passed that polygraph exam regarding Kathleen's death 100% with flying colors. If you put any credence in polygraph exams, then there's already strong evidence that Drew is not guilty.
To be clear, you've said you don't, by the way. You've said in the past you don't believe in polygraphs.
No, I don't. I'm just there, but a lot of people do, and those people who are out there believing that Drew's guilty and that also believe in polygraph exams really need to take a look at that.
Well, you got a big job in front of you. Mr. Brodsky, thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.